Hey, what's going on? This is Dr. Ben Glass, and today I'm going to have a chiropractic student guest, Dejanai, out in Atlanta, going to Life University, share some insights with some prospective students. She's just wrapping up a SAPCA meeting, and she will be joining us in just a minute. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the space below. And without further ado, I'm going to just share a little bit more about why I'm doing this. Pre-Chiro was something that hasn't existed before, and I believe that that has resulted in a lack of supportive sensation, a supportive feeling of our incoming students in chiropractic. So to try and create some cohesiveness with chiropractic education and the rest of the people in the world who are thinking of becoming healthcare providers or are looking for ways that they can really be a solution in their community, I think that chiropractic is second to none. And so the goal with this podcast, the goal with this whole program that we're trying to create is to develop infrastructure. Without pre-chiropractic infrastructure, we don't have any standards. So I think that's a byproduct. Cause will be that we drive students in their pre-chiropractic years, pre-chiropractic time to study chiropractic philosophy, develop their touch abilities into the research as well. We're going to try and make it easy for people to know where to look. And as a result, the standards will be elevated for any students that are coming into school and really just trying to figure out, okay, what's this chiropractic education thing going to be really all about? So I'm really excited to have this guest on today because I connected with her through Instagram, and she seems to be very active on her campus at Life University. She just went to a mission trip out in Baja, Mexico through Suki Muker's Vitalistic Chiropractic mission trip uh, group, and she's on fire, it seems like, as far as I could tell. So really what I'm trying to do is bring people on here that are inspiring to listen to and have clarity about why they became chiropractors. When I read about her story, she'd never been to a chiropractor. When she decided to go to chiropractic school, it was a leap of faith, she called it. So I'm really excited to have her share here because I think that reading on to her later in her story, she says it was the best decision she ever made looking back. So I think that that's the reality that I would like to see more of in this world, where people take a conscious effort to explore chiropractic for what it is and get inspired and decide to go to school. And then they look back on it as the best decision they ever made. And it would have never been possible if we didn't reach out and show them what this is called chiropractic. So that's really why I'm doing things like pre-chiro, because the idea that you're just called to chiropractic, that it finds you, it's not finding enough people. We don't have enough chiropractors, and we're not going to have enough chiropractors. And over the last 20 to 30 years, the other healthcare professions have invested millions of dollars into their pre-med, their pre-physical therapy, and all these other preparatory courses, and created infrastructure and standards so that students are looking at, what are my objectives as a college student? Well, they're to jump through these hoops of getting my prerequisites done, but also to prepare for an exam that's coming up. I don't really think chiropractic needs an entrance exam, but it does need a list of experiential learning opportunities that once a student has demonstrated they've gone through those, they can enter into school and be recognized as having accomplished something in their pre-chiro years that prepares them to not only get more out of their education in chiropractic school, but also be prepared for the business and the professional life, and meeting the reality of what it's like to be a professional in this world and to call yourself a chiropractor. So there's a long process that takes place when we're bringing people into care as chiropractors. And I believe that that process needs to translate over into the pre-chiropractic times. So most admissions teams create like this event-based moment where you apply, you write a letter of recommendation, you write an essay, and then you get in, and it's an event. Just like in medicine, you go and you have this event, this moment in time. And I'm hoping that pre-chiro can illustrate that there's this process that you undertake within yourself before you even go to chiropractic school, so that you can be prepared for some of the challenges ahead of you. Not only when you get out of chiropractic school are you going to have to be able to be confident in your abilities and your skills and be able to communicate with others in the name of chiropractic, but while you're a chiropractic student, you're going to have to be clear on what your options are, know what you're attracted to, and know where to go to look for these different opportunities. So my goal with pre-chiro is to continue building infrastructure by having conversations like this, so that if you're out there and you're thinking of this career, you realize, oh my gosh, this resource has been created just for me, so that I can quickly find the research. I can quickly look through the different techniques and artistic approaches. I can get tapped into the philosophy of chiropractic and find mentors in my area that I can talk to about this. And that's just going to lead to us having a more connected and continuous process through chiropractic education. So hoping this student shows up soon. I know students are super busy. That's another reason pre-chiro is important, is you don't have enough time in your schedule to. Thank you for hopping on here with me, Dejanai. I know that life is busy. Life. What's going on? Welcome. Welcome.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for hopping on here. Can you just start off by giving us a little bit of an introduction as to who you are and what your background was before chiropractic school, and how you discovered chiropractic and were attracted to this profession?
Yeah. Okay. So, my name is Dejanai. I originally, before I even learned about chiropractic school, wanted to be an athletic trainer. So that was kind of like my intro into the sports medicine side of things. But I'm currently a eighth quarter modified student at Life right now. Um, I started my undergrad at LSU, and there I was on the athletic training track, but then I ended up doing kinesiology because I wanted to work with athletes, but I knew I wanted to do something more than just work with athletes. So I just started looking for other options. I went to a career fair at LSU called Go Kinesiology, and they had some chiropractic schools come there, and I spoke to representatives for Life University, for Texas College of Chiropractic, and Parker, and I kind of did my own research about those schools. It was my junior going into my senior year, so I was kind of like, okay, what's next? But once I went to go visit the schools, and I heard more about what chiropractic was, because I knew that chiropractors, what they were, but I didn't know much about them. I just knew that they worked with your back, and if you have back problems, you would go see them. So when I talked to the different schools and the different doctors I was meeting, and they were asking what I wanted to do, that everybody was like, "Oh yeah, you can do that with chiropractic. I think you would like that because of the fact that you don't want to just work with athletes. You wanted to be more broad with the people that you meet." So yeah, that's kind of how I got started, and then ever since I started, it's been a fun journey.
Yeah. How close were you to never having heard of chiropractic? It sounds like if you didn't go to that career fair, you might not have even known that it was like the option for you.
Right. It was pretty much, I was on track to do like personal training, but I wanted to do a like global approach to personal training. So if it wasn't for me going to talk to that doctor at that career fair, I don't think I would be in chiropractic school right now.
And that's part of why we're doing this pre-chiro podcast, to make it easier to access information of what this path of becoming a chiropractor is all about. Can you speak to the prospective students out there that are kinesiology students that are maybe wanting to become athletic trainers and trying to find their way and might not know what they want to do? Can you talk to them a little bit about chiropractic?
Yeah. Okay. So for me, chiropractic is a lot. I have been learning, like, there's so many ways to incorporate what a chiropractor does. Like, not only are you like a doctor of the nervous system, but like that nervous system is pretty much everything in your body. Like, you deal with the brain, you deal with muscles, you deal with like literally everything, because there's not one part of the body that the nervous system doesn't touch. So I think that is what makes it fun, and you can do so much with it, whether you just want to specialize on working with um, mothers or however you want to do it. Um, it there's the options are like limitless. Honestly, you can do it however you want to do it too. It's something where, like, as long as you connect with the person, that's the main thing about it.
Ah, what is that noise? Is that a
Um,
is that a
it's
bell?
no, my messages on my computer get sent to my computer, and I don't know how to turn it off. So
Okay, all good. We're just gonna keep it moving. Okay, so you entered chiropractic school. What were some surprises or some challenges that you encountered that you might not have been prepared for, or that you wish you would have maybe known about ahead of time that would have made you more ready for what was coming?
yeah, I wish that my time management was a lot better than it was when I first started. Chiropractic school can be a lot if your time management isn't together. Um, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not for you. It's just you have to figure out what works for you and do it in the manner that works best for you. So I started off modified because I knew, like, when people were talking to me, they were like, "Oh, it's gonna be 30 credit hours per quarter and all this other stuff," and I was like, 30? I'm barely okay with 12. So, um, and then with it being a quarter system, it's fast paced. So I think for me that kind of helped, because I once I kind of got the flow of things, it's like, okay, just know what I need to know. Don't overthink it. Whatever they're telling you, learn that and then keep moving. So once I got the flow of everything down, it was like, okay. And then once we got to the classes where, like, we got more hands on, I was like, oh yeah, I was made for this. Like, this is for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been good though overall. I definitely would say try and learn yourself as much as possible, because when you're honest with yourself, you'll be able to be honest with, okay, can I handle this? If not, why? Figure out the reason why and then attack it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can you get into some self-development skills that you've been picking up as a student and what you've been attracted to, and the way that you have focused your energy and your efforts as a chiropractic student?
Yeah, when I had started chiropractic school, I was doing a lot just to kind of get understand the school more. So I dipped my toe into Kairos training culture. I would go to like anything that was like hands on, to like Gonstead or Mopal clubs or like literally anything. And then I kind of started to see, like, okay, I like what they're doing here. It makes more sense to me here. So I kind of focused with those things. So my
Mm-hmm.
main, like, the seminars that I've gone to, I did Dynamic Essentials, um, Kairos, MLS, um, NICAL, um, BGI.
Mm-hmm.
So I like energy, and that it just makes sense to me. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then with my background, like, I'm Christian, so it was easier for me to wrap my head around everything that we're talking about in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It's tapping into that spiritual way of being as a chiropractor. Can you speak about that? Like, what's it been like for you to kind of uh, see yourself, identify yourself as a chiropractor, and all of these different trainings you just described that you went to? Like, what was it that attracted you to them, and like, what was the experience like at them? Like, you talked about being a Christian. How did that help you? And Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, being a Christian, when it comes to like understanding the philosophy of chiropractic, it made it a little bit easier for me to kind of take what I needed to understand it and understand that like when it comes to adjusting, like it's the power that made the body that heals the body. So as long as I understand that like it's not me, it's whatever innate force is within that person, that's what's doing it. That's made it easier for me to be like, okay, I can explain this because that's kind of how I feel about just creation in general. Like I know for me, God is He made me, so I know that's the energy, that's the source, the power, the whatever you want to call it, that's healing, and I'm just a vessel facilitating the healing that needs to be facilitated. So I saw a lot of that in the different seminars that I went to, and just hearing even at like Dynamic Essentials, like people talk about that, and like it was just like, okay, that's part of why you're here. This is what you are doing. Like you're made for this. It's okay. Like it's your journey, and it's going to be how it needs to be for you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
For the
yeah.
prospective students that don't know what Dynamic Essentials is, can you tell them what that is and just kind of unpack a little bit about some of the just give us some more. You're doing a great job to provide insights to the prospective students. Just keep wrapping on kind of like where you're coming from nowadays and sort of what that learning process was or unlearning process. Was there any things that you needed to sort of examine within your belief system and say, hey, that's maybe a little incongruent with the natural laws of nature, or what have you learned through this process?
Okay, so Dynamic Essentials was created by Dr. Sid Williams, who also created the school that I go to, which is like university. So that is like a big conference that a lot of different doctors come and talk, and it's just they talk about a lot of different things, but just it's a way that you see chiropractic in another light, and it kind of gets you really fired up. So listening to doctors just talk about the abundance of like what's out there and like the people that they get to interact with, that kind of was a fuel to my fire because I love helping people however I can help people, which kind of got me interested into like the people that I would see talk the tick, which is pretty much talking chiropractic, but in ways that other people may understand it. The people that I constantly saw doing that on campus were a part of the other groups that I mentioned, which was like Kairos training, BGI, MLS. So like I went to where they were because you're talking my language. Let me go see what are you doing that makes it like why are you so passionate? Why are you so fired up about it? And for me, I've always been an open mind person. So I can listen to what somebody says. I may not believe everything that they say, or it may not be a part of my belief, but I take what I need for me to understand it. And whatever I don't agree with, it's like, okay, that's your belief. This is mine. I can meet you in the middle and I can try and understand where you're coming from. But I still stand in what I believe in. So that was kind of my approach with school. And it still is my approach with school.
And if you're a prospective student, I think that that's a great key element to what makes you a perfect chiropractic student is you're an independent thinker.
Yeah.
You don't follow the crowd. You listen to that voice inside of you that says, okay, this resonates with me. That doesn't really resonate with me. What is it about this that resonates with me? And you have like an internal dialogue that you're having with yourself. You know what I mean?
I think that's good too, because like even as a chiropractor, just talking to different chiropractors that I've met over time, because a lot of them say is like as you know what you need to know in that moment. Everybody who lays on your table, they laid on your table for a reason. Like you're able to serve them in whatever capacity that you can serve them. So that's just kind of, once I heard that, I was like, okay, like that's clearly I'm here for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. I believe in that. I've always believed in that. So like, let's just make the best of it. Um,
Mhm.
and then
Let's
that's
transition into kind of looking at, I don't know which community you grew up in, but I imagine that when you get out into the real world, particularly the Black community is going to identify with you as being someone who that they can trust, someone that will be able to level with them, maybe understand where they're coming from, and also communicate in a language that's relevant. Can you talk a little bit about what would it mean for a community that currently doesn't have access to chiropractic to all of a sudden have somebody like you enter into their community and the type of impact that's possible with
yeah,
that?
yeah. So I am actually a part of SABCA's, which is the Student American Black Chiropractic Association. I am the secretary for the Life University chapter, and our like mother chapter is Abaca, and they're really big on just going into the community and just telling people about chiropractic, is like specifically within the Black community, because there's a lot that isn't necessarily provided or thought about when it comes to minority communities. So just spreading the word about what chiropractic is and how beneficial it is, the amount of impact that we have as people connecting with people is just huge overall. And just spreading more awareness about health and wellness overall, getting more people to be active, take care of their body, listen to their body. Um, there's so many ways that chiropractic can really help whatever community it's in, regardless of if it's a lower economic community or high upper class economics. Like chiropractic is really for everyone. Anybody with a spine, it
Mm-hmm.
it needs it.
Yeah. How would you break it down in a way that, let's just say you were talking to somebody that maybe didn't have as much education, maybe they graduated high school, but they didn't move past that. And, let's say they do hair. How would you talk to somebody who does hair for a living about why chiropractic can really change their life or be a beneficial way for them to feel supported?
So typically when you're doing hair, you're standing up all day. With you standing up all day, the amount of pressure that's going into your body just from gravity, and you're standing, you're probably shifting from side to side. There's imbalances that are being created throughout your body, whether that's from your muscles because you're sitting like this, snipping somebody's hair all day, or if it's just your spine or
Mm-hmm.
the not the muscles, the bones
Uh-huh.
within your body. There's always going to be some type of dysfunction within it, because each day you're adding some type of new force into it. So
Mm-hmm.
just being able to come see a chiropractor to help you get back aligned and get your body to be able to actively communicate with each other the way that it needs to communicate, in order for, okay, I know my shoulders need to be relaxed, let's relax it while I cut this hair or brush out the hair.
Mm-hmm.
um, that's what a going to see a chiropractor will help you do, is just continue your body to be able to perform at the best it can perform in the situation that it's in right now.
No doubt. Thank you for doing that. I know it was on the spot and it's kind of just like ad lib, but uh, do you have any particular inspirations that you plan to bring to your community in the future, in any particular way that you've started to envision for yourself?
Yeah, I definitely see myself as a very holistic person. So I view the body and as a global component, like mind, body, and spirit. Like everything is connected. Whatever we eat, whatever we put into our body, like you are what you eat, you are what you listen to, you are what you consume.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a big like love for natural whole foods. Um, Also, because I am a kinesiology major and I was a personal trainer, and I definitely value working out and exercising and just fueling your body in that way. So just combining all of those together, just to to promote health, because health
Mm-hmm.
is wealth, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the best way to to be able to adapt to what's going on in the world, regardless of whatever situation you're in.
Hmm. How are we going to meet the needs of these communities that are not wealthy? So, like the idea that you don't need to be wealthy to be healthy, how can we help them adapt more to their circumstances as chiropractors? What type of specialized understanding and training do we have that we can impart on people that might not have access to very much? They don't have access to organic fruits and vegetables or even a supermarket in their neighborhood. And yeah, how can we meet those needs, or how can we organize? You talked about being in SABCA. What are some goals that you guys have over there, or what's being discussed?
So definitely giving back to the community as much as possible. Like we're at, anybody with knowledge, like knowledge goes a thousand times faster than anything else. Just being able to create that community and share, like, this is what I learned. Let me help you and benefit you and however this may. But then also for Sabica, what we do, we'll do like clothing drives or food drives where we'll make like lunch bags for the homeless and give them out, and just creating again that community
Mhm.
aspect to like, okay, well, if we have it, we're able to provide it. Then also just making sure that we're constantly providing a place for people to feel safe and connected, because that's also something that lacks from time to time.
Mhm. Mhm. Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. No, it's dope. It's dope. It's like, at the end of the day, I didn't grow up with chiropractic. I never even heard of it. I was also a kinesiology major. I almost never found out about it. I found out about it in my senior year of college. And I feel as though if this existed for freshmen in college, and we had like a pre-chiro club, we had like a pre-chiro program that we could go through. I'm just trying to have conversations with people such as yourself to really speak to that prospective student and be like, hey, we're regular people, we're logical, we're rational people. We made this decision somewhat as a leap of faith, but we also are super happy that we made the decision. It was rich. It's a rich experience.
This is
Um,
needed 100%. Like, some of the conversations that we've been having is just like going into like start early, going into elementary schools and being like, hey, I'm a chiropractor. I know like usually chiropractic you think is just people that you go to when you get in a car accident or your back hurts, but like, no, I'm a doctor. Like,
mhm,
this is what a doctor is too, and just really
mhm,
educating as young as possible, like
mhm.
what and who we are.
Yeah, it's definitely it's crucial. Can you speak a little bit about what you're experiencing right now in eighth quarter? You said you were. What's like up for you? What are you working on? What's this quarter about for you?
So typically this quarter would be my first quarter into student clinic, but since I started off modified, I'm like a quarter or two right before it. So for me, this is just me like, okay, I'm trying to hone in on my skills, really understand that I can visualize, okay, this bone looks like this, the angles are this way. So that's my focus right now, is just trying to be able to refine all the tools in my tool bag per se.
Hmm. If I may, as someone who's been there before, and I'm in practice 8 years now, I would say write down each step, each breath that you take, each step that you take through the adjustment. Write down as much detail as possible, your unique blend or your unique rhythm. I like to call it your chiropractic adjusting rhythm, where, what are the parameters that you utilize in your analysis? What are the different things that you do? Like, where do you push? What do you touch? How do you have them breathe in certain ways? And start to just reflect back on, okay, this is where I'm at today. Let me come back to this next week and reflect, do another journal entry on, like, okay, I walk up to the body, I'm looking at this. I take a deep breath. I put my hands behind the medial malleoli, the ankles. It could be as specific as you want, or
Yeah.
just start to get more and more refined and crystallized in your understanding of what it is that you're providing to somebody. And you'll wake up one day and be like, not even having to think about it anymore.
It comes second nature, that muscle memory.
The muscle memory, but more just the understanding of like what you're looking for, how you're moving with the person, what you're saying to them, how you're tapping them, where you're tapping them, where you're touching them, how you're really like moving around the table and how much they're moving. And just the more awareness that you can bring to yourself when you get into clinic, you're not going to have to think about that part because all of the paperwork is going to be challenging enough, plus the energy of being observed by a clinic doc. You're going to have to be able to just tap into your skills and not have to think about them so much. And that's the work that it sounds like you're doing right now. So I just wanted to add a little bit more refinement.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm definitely about to start implementing that.
Cool, cool. Hey, at the end of the day, it's just one little baby step away from being a little bit better version of yourself, and it sounds like you're doing it. So
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, any final messages to that prospective student who just listened to you kind of break down where you're at in your process and just kind of like speak directly to them, like why they should consider the path of becoming a chiropractor?
um, okay. So I feel like if this is something that you're prospectively thinking of, I would say do it. And if you're gonna do it, commit to it because things get tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not all like cookies and cream, like how they try and make it when you go to this perspective school, like showcases.
Mm-hmm.
But the community is there. Find the people that you need to lean on. Everybody wants to see everybody be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Make friends in upper quarters or upper tries because they're gonna help. That we've all been there. No matter where we are along the spectrum, we've all felt the jitters. The I don't know what I'm doing. Even sometimes today, I'm like I still don't know what I'm doing, but I'm we're gonna figure it out. And then there's always that aha moment where it's like, oh, this was so much easier than I've been making it seem for however long. So just trust yourself. Sometimes it's literally as simple as putting one foot in front of the other, but like at the end of the day, it's gonna be so worth it. Like every quarter, I'm excited. Like, oh, I'm so much closer to being a doctor. I'm so much closer to helping people. Um, I love it. I'm so glad I made this decision. I can really combine everything that I want to do and be so passionate about it, and still have the free time to explore everything else because it really is exploration. It's exploration of the body, exploration of like how your mind thinks. It's fun. So definitely do it. Commit to it. You'll appreciate it. You'll love it.
Thank you so much for sharing with the prospective students. I'm gonna let you get back to work over there and
Thank
have a
you.
great
I
night.
appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Most definitely. Have a good night. Take care of yourself. Thank
You
you.
too.
Thanks.